I'm live again. Dude, this was too good not to freaking go live. So I watched that video that Gaming and Sleuthing sent, and I was like, dude, we have to talk about this. This is pretty big deal here, guys. I don't know if anybody's even here yet. So here, decide how you guys want to do this. So there's a clip that I watched. It's 9 minutes. Very interesting. It shows a part of Lebrato's interview and then a part of the girl talking about some of the stuff she said. Got that. Then we have the live that's on right now that I have on that I rewound. It's supposed to be where it was taken. Well, some of it was taken from. So I think it's supposed to have the full Lebrato interview, but it does. Hold on, let me see. I don't know. It's not. I'm like going through it. It started 11 minutes ago, but it. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. It does have it all. Okay. So we could catch up with it. Hold on one second. Okay, so let me pause it. I guess we could just watch that, right? The other one was 9 minutes. It was so good though. This has already started 11 minutes in. I haven't watched that, but I watched the clips of the Lebrato one. I paused it so we could just you know what? Let's do this first. We're gonna watch the 9 minute one first because it's just like a summary, condensed thing of what happened. Then we'll go back because this looks like it leads up. It looks like it takes like 11 minutes to even get into the interview. Then we'll go and we'll watch this because you guys, I want you guys to be where what I've already seen so far. It's freaking crazy. All right, let's do this. I just screen recorded it because it's not on their actual uh it's not on their YouTube channel, it's on like the website. So all right, let's do it. Dude, so crazy. This might have sucked me back in this case because I go back and forth. Okay, so let's watch. I know, I decided. So I'm going to do the screen record. It's 9 minutes. This is what I just got done watching, which what made me decide that this calls for a live, not a freaking pre-record because we're going to want to discuss this. And then we'll watch the live that's going on on that website. Okay, let's do it first. Here you go, guys. It's pretty interesting. All the doubters that thought everybody's crazy for doubting it. This is a guy that first of all doesn't even got basically not fired but off the case. He's not even on this case. So William Lebrato is the one that Frances Gall appointed as one of the two lawyers after she kicked off the other two lawyers. He was on it, I think they said 39 days. He got to see the case. He got to talk to Richard, was on it, and then, you know, the new lawyers got back on it. So he had to withdraw. Okay, so here we go.
This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the latest developments in the Delphi murder case, focusing on the defense attorneys as prosecutors want to get Richard Allen's defense attorneys held in contempt. These prosecutors say that Allen's newly reappointed attorneys, Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin, have violated the court's gag order and were grossly negligent for being at fault for crime scene photos being leaked to the public, which the state says has caused irreparable harm to the victims' families. In their motion, prosecutors allege the press release and the two occasions of leaked information show a trend by defense counsel of not being completely honest with the court, violating the court's gag order set in place to protect the integrity of the case and failing to comply with the protective order put in place to protect the discovery in this case. Well, now we're hearing from one of Richard Allen's former attorneys in a Court TV exclusive interview. Public defender William Lebrato stepped down as counsel earlier this month after the state Supreme Court decision, and he's therefore no longer bound by the gag order. Court TV documentary producer Barbara McDonald was the only person that he spoke to, and she is on the couch with me this morning. A wonderful journalist you are, and really, I like to say you are our in-house expert on the Delphi cases. This is something you have researched, written about, done interviews on for many, many years. So this is really quite a feather in your cap that he's talking exclusively to you, Barbara. Tell us what was the most stunning thing to you that he shared, please.
I think how emphatic he is in his belief that Richard Allen is innocent, not just not guilty, but that he's innocent of these charges and not involved at all, according to Bill Lebrato. That was a bit surprising to me, you know, and I pushed back on that a bit. Like, you know, you're a defense attorney, that's your job, right? To say that. And he said he has handled murder cases. He's handled probably 100 murder cases in his career. And he says he doesn't say that very often. And he's never felt as strongly about a client's innocence as he does in this case.
Wow, Barbara, that says something. It really does. And the fact that you pushed him too, and you were like, well, you're not just saying your client's not guilty, you actually really believe that he's not guilty. And he even used the word innocent with you, not
innocent.
going a step beyond.
Yes, 100% innocent is what he said. Wow. We also talked about a lot of other things connected to the case, including the theory of Odinism, that was floated by the original defense team. They've now been reinstated. But they said in some of their filings that they believe that white supremacist members of this Odinistic cult are responsible for the murders. And I asked him about that, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't, I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and other social media accounts, including the sergeant who was in charge of keeping Mr. Allen safe in Westville.
You described one of those officers that's mentioned in one of Rosie and Baldwin's filings, Sergeant Jones, who was wearing patches that said, "In Odin we trust," on his Department of Corrections uniform.
Yep.
The judge ordered the warden to make them stop. And then what did you notice?
That Mr. Jones had a tattooed under his right eye. From the best we can tell, it looks a lot like Odin's spear. And he had several tattoos on his forearms, including the interlocking triangles that are on his Facebook post. I got to give credit to Mr. Rosie and Mr. Baldwin that, you know, they picked up on that. We saw him, and, you know, confinement officers at the Allen County Jail aren't even allowed to have facial hair, let alone facial tattoos. I was a little miffed that the warden allowed that, or, you know, he even knew what it was.
That was one of the things that surprised me, too, is that it was the same guard, according to Bill Lebrato, that had the patch, was told to stop wearing it, and then comes to work with the tattoo under his eye.
Oh, Barbara, as I'm watching that, and my jaw dropped. Something else that's interesting that you asked him about, when he's telling you he believes in that legal theory, he wasn't the first attorney to put it forward. As you know, it was the first set of defense attorneys who are now back currently Richard Allen's defense attorneys. And as we know, attorneys don't always agree on a legal theory in a case. To me, that really says something, that there may be some substantive value in it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and he said that, you know, their defense strategy would have been probably a little bit different than Rosie and Baldwin, but not too different. They were also preparing a Frank's memo for a Frank's hearing, alleging that there were, you know, problems with the information that was used to obtain the search warrant for Richard Allen's home. So it sounds like they were following a similar path, if not, you know, not identical, but a similar path for sure.
Close, right? With the Odinism theory being at the heart, that someone else carried this out, and that this brutal killing of those beautiful children was done by someone practicing Odinism.
Exactly, and that's what, I think when that first Odin memo dropped, we were all like, Odinism, what is that, right? And I think for a lot of people, it was there's no way that that could be true. And this is somebody who looked into it, who at first said, no, I don't buy that either. But then after getting into the case, he had it for 79 days as lead counsel, and he says there's something there.
Wow. Barbara, I know that obviously as an attorney, any communications he had with Richard Allen, as you know, are privileged, but he can certainly describe, how he was doing in jail or what he saw. The appearance, I know, has been so stunning to so many people, the dramatic weight loss. Tell us what he shared with you about that.
He said that he is improving some mentally and physically, but that it is still very difficult for him. He dropped from 206 pounds at his arrest to about 122 pounds at his lowest. He says he's still probably in the 130 to 140 range, so definitely much lower than what he had been. He described him as calm, very soft-spoken, very engaged in his defense, and very kind and appreciative to the people working on his defense.
Wow. It sounds like even though there was so much disruption and we saw such a bitter legal battle playing out all the way up to the state Supreme Court, you were there, watching things. Even though that all happened, it seems that there was so much civility among these lawyers who were appointed for a brief time and then have left. It seems like there's no animosity, is there, between them and the original attorneys? Yeah,
he had high praise. He said if there's anything he can do to benefit them and their case, he's happy to take part in that. He feels that Richard Allen is in very capable hands, even though he would have liked to have stayed on the case. He said it's very rare that you get a high-profile case where you really believe your client is innocent, and that's where he was. But he says, he absolutely is willing to do whatever he can. I know that, legality-wise, it's a little dicey now at this point, but he wants to see Richard Allen get a fair trial. And he also believes that Judge Fran Gull is the secret to that fair trial. He thinks she's the right judge for this case.
And now she's been appointed is it the chief judge in her division, Barbara? Wow, which is a huge nod from her colleagues. I mean, that must say so much about her.
He said she's one of the most qualified judges he's ever worked with. He's been arguing before her for 2 decades or more, and says she's absolutely the judge who's going to ensure that Richard Allen gets a fair trial, which is what he says he wants.
Yes, and he certainly has that right, as you know. Barbara McDonald, I can't wait to see all of your interview. Thank you for the preview.
Closing arguments.
Yes.
Yep. And then there's also going to be a story going up on courttv.com with some more information from my talks with him.
Beautiful. You've been doing a great job with the writings that you put up on our website and all the information you are sharing. Barbara, thank you so much.
Julie.
And again, a big reminder, you can watch.
So that's what we're going to end up watching, the live that they're talking about, where it gives more of the interview. But dang, that's crazy. So he has nothing to really get. I could see if he was Richard's defense attorney, but he's not a defense attorney. So he has no reason to lie. You know what I'm saying? To say that he thinks he's innocent if he doesn't believe it. So I do believe, he does believe Richard's innocent. It's obvious. He believes in his innocence. I don't think he's just saying it because he has no reason to say it. Now, like I said, does he know? No, but he was able to see all the evidence. So with him, at least what he was able to absorb at the time, I've seen a lot more than all of us, I don't know if he was able to see every single piece of it because he was only there, I think they said 39 days. I don't know where I got that number, but regardless, he was able to look at it, right? So with his knowledge, we don't have that yet because we haven't seen the trial and we still won't be able to see everything they're able to see. He came to the conclusion that he thinks he's freaking innocent and he believes in the Odinism, which is pretty interesting and I think it's a big deal for this case, to be honest. Definitely puts another educated person not thinking that this is all crazy, because anytime any of us talk about Odinism, we get a lot of crap from the other side, which is fine, we're allowed to have different opinions, but we get the attitude of like we're idiots for believing it, it's ridiculous. But now you have like very educated people in the law and very educated people in murder cases that see this stuff, that don't think it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it almost gives a little bit of like reassurance that, you know, we're not crazy for entertaining this thought. You know what I'm saying? Like there is something to it. Now, whether it's the truth or whether, you know, that's exactly what happened, nobody knows but Richard and the people that were there. But the fact that some of us are entertaining it, we're not idiots, you know, for entertaining it. There is a reason why there's a lot of us wondering if there's something to it. You know what I'm saying? Because he saw it all and he thinks that. And he says that he believes his innocence, and he says he's not just saying that. It's not his client. And he said rarely, you know, because she said, well, you're a defense attorney. Of course you have to say it. Well, he said, no, but rarely do I really believe. You know what I'm saying? However she quoted him. It's in my title. You guys just watch it. You heard what she said. Dang it, man. But the fact that he thinks that Gull is going to be his best bet to get a fair trial is really interesting. I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand on that. When did this interview happen? Was this after she denied the Franks memorandum? Because if it is, then that doesn't make a lot of sense, where he thinks that the stuff that they presented in the Franks memorandum is true, but yet she denies it, and he thinks that she's the best to offer a fair trial. That's what I don't get. But I kind of get it, because the whole Franks memorandum's whole point was to throw out that, basically, the gun and the bullet. You know what I'm saying? To throw out what they got in that search warrant for the gun and the bullet and all that stuff. Right? I mean, that's my understanding, was the whole thing is to throw out, to basically say that they, I forget the wording, but basically they not lied, but the way that they wrote that warrant, they knew, and I forget the exact words. Does anybody know the exact words? I know what it means. See, this is where the issue is. I understand exactly what everything is, but I can't put it into words. But basically, so I get that, because I guess the judge could still possibly entertain what was in the Franks memorandum, but doesn't think that what the state did to get the warrant was like unjust or unfairly done. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, so I guess it doesn't mean that she doesn't believe in it, really. It was just she doesn't think that how they achieved that warrant was inappropriate, right? So yeah, this will be interesting. I mean, so he got to see a lot of stuff we didn't get to see. He probably watched some of those interviews. Don't leave yet, guys, because we still want to watch this live where they play more of the interview with Lebrato. But I just want to kind of discuss what your guys' thoughts so far in that 9-minute thing. I thought that was huge. And so this is the impression I got. From what I understood is that Jones, one of the guards, was told he couldn't wear the patches anymore, so he went and got a tattoo. Am I understanding that the tattoo came after he was told that he couldn't wear the patches? Am I understanding that right? So he's like, well, screw that. I'm just going to get a tattoo. We're allowed to have tattoos. I'll just get something that represents it on my face. Did I understand that? That is messed up. That's like, I feel like he could lose his job over that, because you're told you can't sit there and wear patches, but then you get something that represents a patch tattooed. I mean, I understand you're probably allowed to have tattoos, but it seems like that's a little bit shady and a little bit like sneaky in a way, where I almost think that he potentially could lose his job, because now you have it permanently on you, and you were told it. But I guess he does have tattoos on his arms with it. I've seen those on the pictures. So he probably figured, hey, I'm allowed to have tattoos with it, so let me put it right on my face where it's like, you know, at least on the arms. I'm sure in his uniform you don't see it. I mean, I think I forget. I know he has a big one on his arm. I don't remember if it goes how low, but come on, what a jerk. Let's just put it on my face where he's going to have to see it every day, and everybody's going to have to see it right there when they look at my face. Wow. Wow. That's ignorant. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought they said Jones. I thought he said Jones, Wolfpack. Are you sure? I thought they said Jones was told he wasn't allowed patches, so he came in with a face tattoo. Did I misunderstood it? I mean, I know he's not in that prison anymore. I mean, he got moved, but maybe I misunderstood. Anyway, so yeah, I know Jones has tattoos on his arms of it because I've seen his pictures that he has of it. But anyway, dude, only 47 people. This is like a big deal of people following this case. How is it? Where's everybody at, guys? This is a big thing. I feel like the people that's been invested in this case. I don't understand where everybody's at. I think it is, and this live is just happening. So let's watch a part of this live. I'll stop it as we. So hopefully it'll let me play it from. Started 38
Done
minutes
on
ago.
the earth
Yes,
will
it's
make,
let me.
and those end up on those cartridges that are found next to the bodies. That's incredibly powerful evidence.
Now, I want to put this up on the screen because there is one other piece of evidence I think is something that needs to be explained. On April 3rd, 2023, Richard Allen made a phone call to his wife, Kathy Allen, and this is while he's locked up. In that phone call, Richard Allen admits several times that he killed Abby and Libby. Investigators had the phone call transcribed, and the transcription confirms that Richard Allen admits that he committed the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. He admits several times within the phone call that he committed the offenses as charged. His wife, Kathy Allen, ends the phone call abruptly. Barbara McDonald, what did William Lebrato have to say about that?
He said he has a lot of questions about it, that his understanding is it was basically one sentence that Richard spoke, this confession, so not a lot of detail provided in that confession. And he says that Richard Allen was receiving medication while he's in prison, both shots and pills. He doesn't know what those medications were. He tried to find out. And so he has a lot of questions about what all was going on. He also says false confessions are a real thing, especially when people are subjected to very harsh prison conditions.
Yeah, the one thing about the false confession in this case, though, that we've seen him here on Court TV, but it's usually under an interrogation scenario. This is a call to his wife. Mike King, your thoughts on that? Because this is going to be significant. No one has heard this thing outside of investigators, and I presume maybe at some point the defense will hear it. What are your thoughts about this confession, and what would be important about the circumstances for you surrounding it?
I think that the most important thing that comes out of this is it wasn't one confession. By every account that I've read and other testimony I've heard on different media sources, is that it was at least 5 times, maybe 6 times, that he made these confessions or admissions that he was the guy. And I think that's going to be really difficult to overcome, Vinny. You can say, okay, he might have been having a problem just before he started eating evidence and having all of this bizarre behavior. So I want to know the timing of those other 4 or 5 calls, not only just to his wife, but we also know that one of those calls was to his mother, where he explained that he was the guy.
Chris Todd, what is it about the scene, the evidence, the story, the case that makes you believe it's more than one person?
For a long time, I thought it was just one person, and until everything started to fall into place, that they arrested Richard Allen. And like I said before, the word on the street is that he had bragged about being involved in the murders, and that's how they were tipped off to him. So I always had a hunch there were possibly 2 people involved, and so I believe that one person is waiting on the property and the other person holds the girls at gun.
Doing time in a county jail is a whole lot worse than doing it in a prison.
It skipped to the
Finally, I'd
beginning.
say I conducted a study for the Bureau of
See if
Justice.
I could rewind it. It skipped all the way up to where it
Every
was
time you
at.
went,
Come on, it's not gonna let me play.
they might have their feet shackled to the floor. They might even have a chain and they're shackled, but they can at least move their hands up and down, and there's limited mobility. What we're seeing is just odd
It's not gonna really let me play it.
to agree with the attorneys.
You gotta be kidding me. What?
You're preparing for a trial, and I mean,
Must kill.
strong evidence. but he still is presumed innocent under our system of justice.
Hold on, let me see if I could. I wonder how I could make it.
They're alleging an Odinist conspiracy, and then he goes from the normal county jail to a prison where there are Odinist guards or guards that practice heathenry, which is very close to Odinism. I don't know. Do you believe in these coincidences?
We have to remember the first judge recused himself and said that the community, there was like a bloodlust. And I can tell you from experiences with the podcasters, the sleuths, the journalists, everybody wants to get somebody on this case. These two girls were tortured and murdered, and someone's going to pay for it. I'm not big on the stuff surrounding intimidation and all that, and I get it, but someone's going to pay for this. And if he is guilty, we have to remember, because people are throwing up the signs, the world is watching, they're doing all this stuff at the crime scene, making videos. Let's not help this guy get off. If he is guilty, he needs to pay for this.
Yeah. And Barbara, how are the families doing?
You know, they're not talking publicly right now. They are honoring the gag order in the case. And I think they're just watching this prosecution, hoping that we get to a trial so that they can see for themselves what the evidence is, like the rest of us. But it's difficult, you know, every time these headlines come up, it's difficult on them. Life goes on. The friends of Abby and Libby have all grown up and gone to college, and some of them have gotten married. Kelsey's had a baby. I mean, it's very difficult. They're never going to get over the loss of these absolute.
Hold on, let me see what we missed. Oh, it's not even letting me see. This is making me mad. Like you should be able to watch it.
It's a beautiful day. Go see nature. Go, right. You know.
And maybe they'll upload it on their.
You're not alone. They were together.
Barbara McDonald, a great job. We look forward to more of your reports on all this. And thank you to Chris Todd and Mike King as well for your insight. We really do appreciate it. When we come back, folks, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight. Plus, coming up next hour.
Wait, okay. Is it done with Delphi then? I'm mad. Courtney. Oh, is that what they're going to play next? All right, hold on a second. So I think Delphi's over, but I want to check if I could find it somewhere else where we could find that. You know what? We probably only missed like a couple clips. They're going to play like the rest of Lebrato's interview, but I think they played a lot of good parts. And she, on that 9-minute clip, she said, you know, what they talked about and stuff. Yeah, nobody's helping the guy get off, Jonathan. The evidence will speak for itself, you know, whatever they have, we'll see. So I still think there's a good chance if it is him, there could be somebody else involved too. You know, even the state at least at the beginning of this case, thought that there was somebody else involved too. So I just wonder if they're going to be happy thinking and probably knowing there's possibly somebody else involved and only having one person. Are they going to be happy with that? Never finding the other guy or the other person or the other people, if it even is Richard? I wonder. So, yeah. That was the attorney document stating it took them 10 hours round trip to CRA. Huh? I guess we could go through some of the document. I mean, I never did a video. I mean, I've been skimming them and keeping up on them, but this video, I just really wanted to kind of go over the Lebrato stuff, to be honest. But what are you talking about? Document stating it took them 10 hours? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know what, are you asking me to read a document? I don't know what you're asking, I guess I should say. Pop up on our phone. I didn't realize you were covering the Allen Delphi case at first. Oh, you don't, love? Wait, really? Why doesn't it pop? Why doesn't the thumbnail pop up? Wait a minute. When you get a notification, it doesn't give you a thumbnail? That's stupid. They need to change that because a lot of the times it's like you could only fit so much in the title. I hate you have 100 characters and spaces count as characters. It sucks. It's not a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. They don't let you go over one. So it's hard to like fit what you want to talk about in 100 characters. Basically less because spaces count. So it's really hard. And so a lot of times I depend on what maybe, I can't add in the title. I make up for it in the thumbnail by putting like text in a thumbnail or the pictures or whatever. So I kind of try to like do double, like show you in the thumbnail plus the title what's all in it. Obviously you can't put what's all in it, that'd be too much stuff, but like a good overview of what's in it. So like since I didn't have Richard at the beginning or Delphi, which I ended up changing, I have Delphi, but I don't know how to put Richard at the beginning for it to really make sense for any. I mean, I guess I could, but I think it's all right. I figured if I have his face, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be obvious that it's about him, but I didn't know they didn't give you thumbnails, huh? So what about after it's already on and you get a notification though? You're saying before, but if it's already on, does it? Oh, I see. Okay. I know what you're talking about. That's what I was picturing, like the little miniature. You're right. All right. So let me see if I could, hold on, give me 1 minute. I want to see if I could find a way where we could rewind it. Hold on one sec. Oh, you know what I could do actually? Hold on a second. Let me see if they actually. Morning Star, what's up? How are you? So this has, well, let me see how many minutes this is. Oh no, I guess I didn't even need to screen record it because it's right here. We can let's watch a part of this again. Why I'm gonna get the Nightbot.
Developments in the Delphi murder case.
The same thing we watched. Let's watch it.
The defense attorneys, as prosecutors want to get Richard Allen's defense attorneys held in contempt. These prosecutors say that Allen's newly reappointed attorneys, Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin, have violated the court's gag order and were grossly negligent for being at fault for crime scene photos being leaked to the public, which the state says has caused irreparable harm to the victims' families. In their motion, prosecutors allege the press release and the 2 occasions of leaked information show a trend by defense counsel of not being completely honest with the court, violating the court's gag order set in place to protect the integrity of the case and failing to comply with the protective order put in place to protect the discovery in this case. Well, now we're hearing from one of Richard Allen's former attorneys in a Court TV exclusive interview. Public defender William Lebrato stepped down as counsel earlier this month after the state Supreme Court decision, and he's therefore no longer bound by the gag order. Court TV documentary producer Barbara McDonald was the only person that he spoke to, and she is on the couch with me this morning. A wonderful journalist you are, and really, I like to say you are our in-house expert on the Delphi cases. This is something you have researched, written about, done interviews on for many, many years. Yeah. So this is really quite a feather in your cap that he's talking exclusively to you, Barbara. Tell us what was the most stunning thing to you that he shared, please.
I think how emphatic he is in his belief that Richard Allen is innocent, not just not guilty, but that he's innocent of these charges and not involved at all, according to Bill Lebrato. That was a bit surprising to me, and I pushed back on that a bit. Like, you're a defense attorney, that's your job, right? To say that. And he said he has handled murder cases. He's handled probably 100 murder cases in his career. And he says he doesn't say that very often. And he's never felt as strongly about a client's innocence as he does in this case.
Wow, Barbara, that says something. It really does. And the fact that
Yes, so
you
that's-
pushed him too, and you were like, well, you're not just saying your client's not guilty. You actually really believe that he's not guilty. And he even
Yes.
used the word innocent with you, not
Yes,
going
innocent.
a step beyond.
Yes, 100%
legal
innocent is what he said.
Wow.
We also talked about a lot of other things connected to the case, including the theory of Odinism, that was floated by the original defense team. They've now been reinstated, but they said in some of their filings that they believe that white supremacist members of this Odinistic cult are responsible for the murders. And I asked him about that. And here's a little bit of what he had to say.
I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't. I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing.
Oh,
It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and other social media accounts, including the sergeant who was in charge of keeping Mr. Allen safe in Westville.
You described one of those officers that's mentioned in one of Rosie and Baldwin's filings, Sergeant Jones, who was wearing patches that said, "In Odin we trust," on his Department of Corrections uniform.
Yep.
The judge ordered the warden to make them stop. And then what did you notice?
That Mr. Jones had a tattooed under his right eye. From the best we can tell, it looks a lot like Odin's spear. And he had several.
so I was right. It was Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones, I'm glad we listened to this again. So it was Mr. Jones. So it was one of the security guards that had that was mentioned in the Frank's memorandum, had the tattoo. Now this is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to rewind this again. Is it sounding like he's saying that he got the tattoo after he was told he couldn't wear patches or not? I'm trying to figure out if that's what he's saying. Or did he already have that? I almost think he's saying after, which is freaking messed up. Let me rewind it. Is the Nightbot working? Oh, it's working! Yes! Oh, okay. So let me rewind it. I want to try to see if I could figure out. We're going to do a poll on this, what you guys think. Because it's not 100% clear, but I'll see what you guys are interpreting. Because, I mean, my opinion could be wrong. It's not 100% clear that I could say 100% that's what he's saying. But I'm taking it as that's what he's saying. But we are going to do a poll. But pay attention to his wording. Let's see.
Warden to make them stop. And then the judge ordered Odin we trust on his department. One of Rosie and Baldwin's filings, Sergeant Jones, who was wearing patches that said, "In Odin we trust," on his Department of Corrections uniform.
Yep.
The judge ordered the warden to make them stop. And then what did you notice?
That Mr. Jones had a tattooed under his right eye. From the best we can tell, it looks a lot like Odin's spear. And he had several tattoos on his forearms, including the interlocking triangles that are on his Facebook post. I got to give credit to Mr. Rosie and Mr. Baldwin that, they picked up on that. We saw him, and, confinement officers at the Allen County Jail aren't even allowed to have facial hair, let alone facial tattoos. I was a little miffed that the warden allowed that, or, he even knew what it was.
That's one of the things that surprised me too, is that it was the same guard, according to Bill Lebrato, that had the patch, was told to stop wearing it, and then comes to work with the tattoo.
Yes, that's what she's saying right there. She says, and then comes to work with a tattoo. So the wording is pretty clear, at least if she got it right. That's what that would mean. And then comes to work with a tattoo. Wow. That's crazy.
And my jaw dropped. Something else that's interesting that you asked him about, when he's telling you he believes in that legal theory, he wasn't the first attorney to put it forward. As you know, it was the first set of defense attorneys who are now back currently Richard Allen's defense attorneys. And as we know, attorneys don't always agree on a legal theory.
No, Jay, I know it was the same guy. We're saying, was it at what I was debating, and then I got her wording. I wasn't debating if it was, well, I thought it was him, and then somebody disagreed in chat, and I was like, no, I think it's Jones. And then we watched it. I'm like, yes, but that's who I always thought it was him. But what I'm saying is, right now I was just talking about, did the tattoo come after he was told not to wear the patches or not? But she just confirmed, if she's right, she said then, that clearly means it was after, right? I mean, that's how I take it. So he was told not to wear patches, but then came to work with a face tattoo.
Theory in a case, to me, that really says something, that there may be some substantive value in it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and he said that, you know, their defense strategy would have been probably a little bit different than Rosie and Baldwin, but not too different. They were also preparing a Frank's memo for a Frank's hearing, alleging that there were, you know, problems with the information that was used to obtain the search warrant for Richard Allen's home. So it sounds like they were following a similar path, if not, you know, not identical, but a similar path for sure.
Close, right? With the Odinism theory being at the heart, that someone else carried this out, and that this brutal killing of those beautiful children was done by someone practicing
exactly.
Odinism.
And that's what, you know, I think when that first Odin memo dropped, we were all like, Odinism, what is that, right? And I think for a lot of people, it was that there's no way that that could be true. And this is somebody who looked into it, who at first said, no, I don't buy that either. But then after getting into the case, he had it for 79 days as lead counsel, and he says there's something there.
Wow. Barbara, I know that obviously as an attorney, any communications he had with Richard Allen, as you know, are privileged, but he can certainly describe, you know, how he was doing in jail or what he saw. The appearance, I know, has been so stunning to so many people, the dramatic weight loss. Tell us what he shared with you about that.
He said that he is improving some mentally and physically, but that it is still very difficult for him. He dropped from 206 pounds at his arrest to about 122 pounds at his lowest. He says he's still probably in the 130 to 140 range, so definitely much lower than what he had been. He described him as calm, very soft-spoken, very engaged in his defense, and very kind and appreciative to the people working on his defense.
Wow. You know, it sounds like even though there's so much disruption, and we saw such a bitter legal battle taking it all the way up to the state Supreme Court. You were there, you know, watching things. Even though that all happened, it seems that there was so much civility among these lawyers who were appointed for a brief time and then have left. It seems like there's no animosity, is there, between them and the original attorneys?
Yeah, he had high praise. He said if there's anything he can do to benefit them and their case, he's happy to take part in that. You know, he feels that Richard Allen is in very capable hands, even though he would have liked to have stayed on the case. He said it's very rare that you get a high-profile case where you really believe your client is innocent, and that's where he was. But he says, you know, he absolutely is willing to do whatever he can. I know that, you know, legality-wise, it's a little dicey now at this point, but he wants to see Richard Allen get a fair trial. And he also believes that Judge Fran Gull is the secret to that fair trial. He thinks she's the right judge for this case.
And now she's been appointed is it the chief judge in her division, Barbara? Wow. So, which is a huge nod from her colleagues. I mean, that must say so much about her.
He said she's one of the most qualified judges he's ever worked with. He's been arguing before her for 2 decades or more, and says she's absolutely the judge who's going to ensure that Richard Allen gets a fair trial, which is what he says he wants.
Yes, and he certainly has that right, as you know. Barbara McDonald, I can't wait to see all of your interview. Thank you for the
closing
preview.
arguments.
Yes.
And then there's also going to be a story going up on courttv.com with some more information from my talks with him.
Beautiful. You've been doing
I want to try to find that live and try to that wouldn't let me freaking rewind. I bet you I could find it. It's got to be uploaded by now. What case are you talking about, though, Jonathan? Now, I mean, just tell. Why can't you just tell me what you're talking about, so at least I know what you're talking about? Because if it was like you're talking about from another day, sometimes I miss like a lot of your messages when it's like a lot. So I don't. Sometimes I don't have time to go up through all of them if there's like a lot. So if you're talking about something from like a couple days ago, maybe tell me now, and then I'll know if it's something I need. Does that make sense? Or are you saying it was from today? I mean, you could just, I'm reading chat, so if you want to tell me now, I'll read it. So I know what you're talking about. Hey, sweet dude! Sweet Dudley, I said it right. Dude. Why was, like, my first instinct was to actually say sweet dude this time, which is weird. Then I was going to say, oh, Dudley, but dang it. I'm going to go with whatever comes naturally, though. But how are you? I haven't seen you forever. Yeah, I watched that this video and I'm like, dude, I want to talk about this. Because it's pretty big, if you ask me, just because Lebrato is somebody that's seen the evidence, doesn't have any fight in what's that saying? Doesn't have any, I can't think of it. Whatever. He has no reason to say one way or the other, right? He's not their attorney anymore. So it's just interesting what he's saying. Hi, nobody, nothing. Hey, Jade. I said hi to you, right, Jay? No soul in the house. Faith in humanity. Guards are also in. Yeah, that's bullcrap, though, what Jones did. I mean, I feel like he could possibly lose his job for that because, like, if he already had the tattoo, then it's like, well, there's nothing you could do. You're allowed to have tattoos. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but if he already had it, like, as far as, like, him losing his job, but you're told you're not allowed to wear the patches. And what do? You go get what those patches represent on your face as a tattoo that's permanent in a place where you can't not see it when you're talking to the person, which, I mean, that's just, I feel like that's not right. If you're not allowed, if he wasn't allowed to wear the patches, like, how is that okay? I don't know. I just think that was a very just jerky move to do. And I feel like they should maybe reprimand him for doing that. I don't think that's right. Anyway, and Bobby. No, I know. I'm sure that's why he did it, because they're allowed to have tattoos. But the fact, I mean, that's what he thought. But the fact is like, you're told that, but then you do one right on your face. There should be like, yeah, they're allowed to have tattoos, but there should be a line right there. Like, what, oh, he found like a loophole, or, beat the whole, well, we're allowed to have tattoos, so I'm allowed to do that. No, I mean, it shouldn't be like black or white. It depends on the situation. So I do think just because you're allowed to have tattoos, that whole situation is enough where they should possibly at least suspend him or something, talk to him, because that, obviously, that intention was not good. You know what I'm saying? You had to put it on your face, like, right after that. Like, that shows some kind of intent of, like, just rubbing it in. I don't know. I still think there should be some kind of grounds just because you're allowed to have tattoos. Anyway, let me see if I could find that live real quick. If not, I don't even know what else to say. It's just messed up. What do you guys think? I thought there would be more people like on being like, whoa, but I guess I don't know where everybody's at, or I feel like even the chat does not have much to say. I don't know, maybe I'm just not, maybe I'm kind of out of it, but dang it, I thought this was a pretty big thing for this case. Oh wait, what's this? Hold on. Let's see if it'll let me start it over. Nope, it's just going what's live now. I hate that that you're not able to do that, like on a website when it's live, where it's really hard to be able to like rewind it. It keeps wanting to skip forward. I don't like that. Yeah, Game and Sleuthing, are you here? It wouldn't let me rewind it. I paused it. It was 38 minutes paused and it wouldn't let me freaking, it skipped right past the whole Lebrato part, which makes me really mad. So I'm trying to find it. See if they uploaded it somewhere or if I'm able to. I even had it like there paused. Thought it was going to be okay, but hold on a second. No, this is just going to take me. Yeah, it takes me right to. Dang it. I don't know, guys. I think we're going to have to wait. I think they might end up uploading it on their channel. Sometimes they do after a while, but it's not there right now. And it will not let me even come close to getting to it now. Oh, well. I keep checking to see on their channel, but dang it. Well, I screwed up. We should have watched that first. It might have still skipped forward anyway, but if I would have turned it on when the live started, we would only been like 13 minutes rewound instead of 30. But it could have done the same thing though anyway, so dang it. Well, I don't think there was too much more. Nope, it keeps bringing me. Well, let me see if it'll link. Hold on a second. Court TV. Let me see if it'll link this way. Hold on. I'm not giving up here. I might have to, but wait till this ad plays and I'll see. Hey, Bobby. All right, you said hi, Bob. So, Sweet Dudley, how are you? How have you been? Are you probably because I haven't been covering Delphi? Are you just mainly sticking to Delphi? Is that what you mainly stick to as far as cases? That might be why I haven't seen you, because I haven't covered it in a minute. Got kind of sidetracked with a couple cases. It wouldn't let me rewind Gaming and Sleuthing. It skipped right ahead. It wouldn't let me rewatch it. Do you know where I could find it? Where it's like, I'm so mad. Oh, so I have a Nightbot for Cash App now. I did it while we were watching the video. Well, thanks for sending me that Game and Sleuthing during the other live, but I'm glad I waited to do it on a separate live, because that deserved a separate live talking about that specifically. I wouldn't have liked to put it on a live about something else, because dude, as soon as I watched that, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I need to go live. This is pretty big. To me, I was just like, to me, it's big. Thanks for sending it to me. I don't know if I would have known about it because I'm not. Yeah, I'm sure I would have eventually. I don't know if I would have seen it today though, because I'm not checking constantly on it, like very loosely. I'll get updated with everything, but yeah, that's big. Oh, thank you, Faith in Humanity. I appreciate that. Hey, Jamie, what's up? No, you could do that. Soul, no, you're allowed. What you were doing was fine too. I was just telling you because I didn't know if you knew that I did it. That's all. I wasn't like mad that you were doing it, but I just wanted to make your life easier and be like, oh, you just wasn't sure if you knew I did the cash or the Nightbot thing. Anyway, well, guys, anything else? I don't know what else to. Like, there's all the, like, since I last covered it, there's, like, a lot of documents, but I'm not gonna, I know, everybody already saw those. So I'm not gonna read through all those, probably, but anyway, surprised, just surprised there isn't more people. I was, like, in shock watching it. I did not expect him to be that strongly on that, like that, at all. And I was over here doubting, when she appointed him, I was doubting him more than Scremin because of his freaking reviews were so bad where they said like a lot of his clients were reviewing like how he just always wants to take deals and doesn't like fighting for his clients and stuff. So I thought for sure he's not gonna look into the Odin stuff, or he's not gonna take the time. But I did have faith in Scremin because Scremin had a pretty good track record. But God, might have been the opposite. Maybe it was more him that would have. I mean, maybe they both. Maybe they would have been fine representing him. I don't know. Because maybe bottom line is that there's something to that. Regardless who freaking takes the case, that is the route to go. Somewhere in that area, as far as like she said, he wasn't going to do exactly the defense, but somewhere, along those lines, it sounds like about the Odinism. So maybe like anybody that takes a case and they see the information, maybe that's really it. That's the defense that you have to go with because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what's there. And for like even like the unified command, originally thinking that was it too. So I mean there's something to it. So here's the thing, since Gaul appointed them, now I'm wondering if it would have been better since she appointed those lawyers. She might have been more fair with them. I'm just worried she's not going to be fair with Baldwin and Rosie because of now just everything going on. If she's just going to be unfair. What do you guys think? Let's do a poll. I'll ask if you think. My cousin. Oh, good night, Bobby. Sorry, I'm just like kind of out of it. I should just end it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else and just keep hoping that Court will upload that live. And no, I'm not saying everybody with a face tat's a bad guy. I'm talking about how that all happened. I don't have anything against tattoos at all, but just the fact that they said that, and then he gets one right there that symbolizes that. It's just messed up. That's what I meant. Not a face tat in general, but you got to admit that's kind of messed up, dude. You know? What link? Gaming? I don't know. What are you talking about? What link? Yeah, no, that's the one we watched, Jay. We watched that twice already. Not that. That's not the one I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get the live. It was like an hour or whatever. It was a live that was live. It's not on their channel or anything. The live that we watched this, what you just sent me. We watched this first, and I paused the live because at the end of this that you sent me, it talks about, oh, it'll be on tonight with Vinny or whatever, the rest of it. I paused it, had it ready paused. It's like, let's watch this first. And it was paused. It was like 38 minutes in. We watched the 9-minute, went to watch it. It let us play like the first, 5 minutes. And then it skipped all the way to the beginning. It would not let me rewind it. Well, you guys saw, everybody was on when I was trying to do it. I'm like, it's not letting me. Sucks. So, but yeah, we watched the 9-1. We actually watched that twice already. Oh well. Well, what did Gaming is Sleuthing? What else did they say that was big on the live? Can you give us a couple, like, just key points? Why won't it let you do that on lives? I don't understand that, but it makes me mad. Sorry, I keep zoning out here. Yeah, just type, because I have no energy. I'm not gonna... Yeah, it don't matter. Jamie, I answered you yesterday about that. Or the last live, you asked me the same thing. I answered, no, we're not together. You asked me that last live, remember? And now we haven't been together in months, few months. Hey, Pablo. I know. I've only had one cup of coffee. Well, 1.5, because the other one's a decaf. All right, I'm going to try to finish editing that video. Okay, but she mentioned that they talked about that. Okay, that he went from like what 140, or wait, he went from 2 something to 120, and now he's like back to 135 or 40. But she had said that in the 9-minute one. Hi, Shorty. Whoa, that's big. Really? Was it more than one time? The confession, was it really like 5 or 6 times, or was it one time? That's something new that wasn't in that short one. Wow. Wait, are you saying it was once or 5 or 6? What did Lebrato say? Wow. I would trust somebody that actually saw the files rather than somebody's just a reporter hearing word of mouth. I feel like I would trust Lebrato, right? Because he actually saw the stuff. Wow. Yeah, that actually was on the short one too. Well, this is a real fun live. I mean, for me, I'm being boring. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to edit this. Thanks for coming. Bye, guys.